ReconAthlete.com podcast is brought to you by Kreitz Market.
Working on a week.
Yeah.
Remix.
For real. We do be working on the weekend.
Yeah, we always working on the weekend.
Hey, man.
Every weekend.
Hey, man.
We got our regular jobs.
Hey, for real.
You know, I work for school district. Shout out Maynard.
Yeah. Work with Health and Human Services. Shout out State.
Shout out the state. And then we working on the weekend.
For sure.
Just like Drake does.
Man, I'm trying to get that Drake kind of money.
Yeah, you know, I think everybody is. But, you know, it comes in time. You know,
real.
it comes in time. All right, Recon Athlete, episode number 48. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez. Shout out to Zach Lucetto, who's kicking it big time. Speaking of Drake type of money.
Grand Hyatt.
Yeah, down in San Antonio. Zach said he was going to go down there and visit some friends, hang out for the weekend.
Did you see that floor he put on there?
Nuh-uh.
Dude, 24th floor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Tower of the Americas view.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know if you know where the Grand Hyatt is. It's basically in between 281 and 35. It's closer to 281. Like, it's literally around the corner from the Alamo Dome. Well, you get two views. You can get the city view, or you can get like the Tower of the Americas view, like looking out towards south of San Antonio. Yeah. And that's that view that he said he got. I mean, 24th floor, you way up there.
Yeah, he's big time, bro. He's big time. All right, let me get my watch party rolling here. Sorry, y'all.
Not a sold out. Everybody, y'all hop on that Chris's watch party. All his friends out there in Facebook land.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
We rolling now. All right, we're going to talk, of course, a big game, little Super Bowl 54. And Central Texas District. I said redistricting, but how did you put it?
I like to say UIL District Projections.
UIL District Projections.
2020-22 version.
And you had put something out there on, was it Instagram or?
Instagram story, yeah.
Yeah, and you had some kids interested in what you had put together.
I think a lot of it is, you know, information's out there, and this whenever somebody finally, you know, consolidates the information, especially localized to this kind of area, people are interested. They want to know, like, who are the 6A teams, who are the 5A D1 schools, who are the 5A D2 schools, and, you know, of course, I left a little, you know, theory to the imagination, or however the cliche goes, because I don't really know it, but put a filter on it, and you know, a lot of the schools, you know, Westlake, Lake Travis, they know where they're going to stay at. Yeah. You know, but other schools that are kind of those tweener on the bubble, who's moving up, who's coming down, lots of schools coming down. Yeah.
And so let's go ahead and get into that. And you had basically three different projections here. You had the first one was, do we want to start at 6A or we want to start 5A? Where do you want to start?
Let's start with 5A D2.
Okay, 5A D2.
Yeah.
All right. And what do you got there, Paul?
So let's go ahead and just break it down. And we're going to go by school district, and then we'll kind of get into what the projections for Chris and I would kind of be in. So we're going to start with Austin ISD, 5A D2, Crockett, LBJ, which a lot of people thought they may be 4A school dropping down, but they're going to stick at 5A D2, McCallum, Navarro, Northeast, and Travis. Out of Bastrop ISD, Bastrop and Cedar Creek. This is kind of a possibility because these schools have been in districts in the Austin area the past 2 years. We're going to go out to Brenham ISD, and that's going to be Brenham and Brian Rudder, potentially. Elgin ISD, Elgin, at a Georgetown ISD, Eastview comes down. There's Leander ISD, that's going to bring in Glenn and Rouse. Liberty Hill jumping into the fray, 5AD2 moving up. Liberty Hill. Lockhart and Pflugerville Connolly out of Pflugerville ISD. So I think they're coming down one division.
Okay. And how did you go about putting this together?
So the UIL went to their website, and I kind of just looked for a master copy of all of the school districts broken down by classification, 6A, 5A, 5AD1, and 5AD2. You kind of have to kind of pay attention because they have a column on their spreadsheet that says 11-man football, and you kind of have to pay attention on who's going to be 11-man, and then when you get to 5A is really where it gets crucial because you have to differentiate between 5A, D1, and D2, and that's kind of where you want to go, but it's alphabetized, and so you kind of just go down by the school districts alphabetized-wise, and you kind of just make sure, pay attention, what school is Austin ISD, Eanes ISD, Georgetown ISD, and so on and so forth, going through the alphabet.
Yeah. So 5AD2, you mentioned all of these teams.
Yeah.
I mean, Austin ISD never gets broken up.
Last year they did. They had Dripping Springs, and they also had Seguin, which is way out west that got brought in.
Well, they were brought in, but like Crockett, LBJ, McCallum,
they don't get split up.
They don't get split up. Travis, Navarro, and Northeast. So, which by the way, Navarro is also known, or used to be known as Lanier. Northeast used to be known as Reagan. Right. So for anybody that's listening to us right now, you say, "What's Navarro, Northeast? What is that?" They're not new schools; they just have new names. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Crockett, LBJ, McCallum, Navarro, Northeast, Travis.
That's a locked district in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think the UIL is going to want to protect the Austin schools and have, especially they want a district championship to stay in Austin, and that's props to them. I think it's a little misguided, but for those schools to compete, I think is going to be really great for them to go ahead and have a solid level of competition for all of them throughout there. But if that was going to pick that district champion, LBJ all the way for that one.
So do you think it's going to stay at 6 teams?
Yeah, I think it's going to stay at 6 teams. I don't see another school that would kind of be brought in, because I think they saw what happened last year with Dripping Springs and Seguin kind of leading the way. I think they just kind of want to keep it locked in there.
All right, sorry I'm smiling because I looked at the watch party and Francesca put a little meme of Forrest Gump waving. So hi, Francesca.
Morning, Francesca.
Also shout out to Spencer Kitley and Stephanie Ritter, and thanks for joining us. Shout out to Spencer Kitley. Spencer was actually our backup quarterback at Westwood. He was back in the day, class of '98. Shout out Westwood, class of '98. I will say this real quickly before we get back, because we are talking high school football right now.
Yeah.
The one big thing I remember about Spencer Kitley is he came in against our game against Round Rock because our starting quarterback David Farman was down with mono, and he led us to a win over Round Rock in the Battle of the Bell. So shout out Spencer. I wanted to give him that.
That's a good memory.
Give him that shine time.
Yeah.
All right. So Crockett, LBJ, McCallum, Navarro, Northeast, and Travis. We think they're good. You don't think they're going to bring in?
It's a possibility. It's a possibility, and that's
if they were, who would you?
I was actually going to bounce that back on you. I kind of wanted to see if you looked at these schools in this area and just kind of understanding the geography, because on districts past, we kind of know the UIL is going to basically use a little bit of common sense and use geography to kind of lump these teams together in the best way they see fit. So with that being said, in this geography, who would most likely be a candidate to join maybe a 7 or 8 team district? So we're talking about 1 new school or 2 new schools in there.
I mean, if I were doing it,
yeah, if you were doing it,
I'd throw in Liberty Hill and Lockhart.
Really?
Yeah.
Over Elgin?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Just because there's north and south. I think Elgin would fit more geographically with Bastrop, Cedar Creek, possibly Brenham and Bryan Rudder, just because they're a little bit more east. I just think kind of if I'm trying to keep everybody like centrally located, and I kind of like that. I kind of like the Liberty Hill Lockhart. Just throw those in there. Liberty Hills, they still run that old school style offense that Lockhart used to.
That slot team.
Yeah. And I think it would be fun. And also I think for Liberty Hill moving up from 4A, I think that would be a good transition for them, to get into a 5A Division II. Not to say that, it's going to be easy, but I think being in the Austin district would be a lot easier for them as far as travel goes.
And that's a valid
too.
point. Yeah, it's a valid point. Now, I have the inverse opinion on that matter. Now, if we take Bastrop, Cedar Creek, Elgin, Eastview, Glen, Rouse, Liberty Hill, Lockhart, and Connolly, that's a 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 team district. And we're seeing that a lot nowadays because there's so much expansion with high school football that I see pretty much a 130 kind of route all the way around. If you just take it from Liberty Hill, you go all the way around east, you're going to hit all of these schools coming all the way back to Lockhart.
Okay.
So if you keep, Connolly is north. I mean, they're way up north off of where Lamar ends north. So you take those 2 schools.
Palmer and 35.
Thank you. Yeah. So you take that and you just go all the way east and back south from Liberty Hill. You run into all those schools that encompass a 9-team district. And I think Liberty Hill has been so used to, you talked about how Liberty Hill was used to, or making a transition, something a little bit more not easier, but just a little bit more competitive. I think that they've been playing 6A teams, 5A D1 schools. They're used to that high level competition. That gets them primed, ready to go into their playoff run. So I don't think it's anything new for them. I think that would actually be a benefit for them to hop into 5A D2, which I think they've earned based off playing the level of competition. And so that's kind of where I see that new district. And I would leave Austin alone and just leave those Austin schools to battle it out for a district title.
All right. So I was thinking Liberty Hill, Lockhart. Your 9-team district would be the 6 Austin schools: Crockett, LBJ, McCallum, Navarro, Northeast, and Travis. And then the name of the 3. Just we got some new people going to this watch party.
So the Austin school district alone would be Crockett, LBJ, McCallum, Navarro, Northeast, and Travis. The next 5A D2 school in the Austin area would be Bastrop, Cedar Creek, Elgin, Eastview, Glen, Rouse, Liberty Hill, Lockhart, and Connolly.
Yeah.
Now, the first out of that district was probably going to be Lockhart, in my opinion, because it's just a little bit out of the way, and I think for them being so isolated, they may get lumped into some schools maybe that are a little bit more further south, maybe the New Braunfels area, depending on new schools that are coming out there. That's just something that's been happening in the past, and that's only why I'm giving a little bit of credence. The first team out would probably be Lockhart.
Yeah, and it always just kind of is like that for them.
They're just kind of like the stepbrother. They get left out, but I'm telling you, Coach Mabus has those dudes. They got some young talent out there we got a bunch of young talent in Austin area. They have some as well.
Yeah. So 5A Division II, we're gonna see what happens with this district. We've got a couple of teams that are possibly moving up and down, and it'll be interesting. It'll be fun. When is this happening on?
This comes out Monday. Yeah,
all right.
A couple of days.
And I know there's going to be there'll probably be some podcasts going on. We'll probably watch.
Well, I'm going to have some live reactions probably on our Instagram story, which I'm trying to see if I can simulcast that with Facebook Live. So we're going to have a live reaction depending on how things go out and see if we can get a couple of reactions also. I'm going to see if I can't get with Coach Mabus or a couple other coaches in the area.
All right, so 5A Division I, these are Paul Rodriguez, P-Rod projections. I like that.
So these are just straight up what was pulled from the master copy. These are the candidates. And so for 5A D1, Anderson out of Austin ISD, they moved down. Dripping Springs, Georgetown, new schools in the mix. Hayes Johnson, it's a new school that's coming out. They're going to be in with Lehman as well. That's another candidate. Cedar Park, Leander, Manor, Pflugerville High, Hendrickson, Weiss, and Seguin. So out of the area, our previous coverage area, that's why Seguin got lumped in there. That's kind of why we included it.
Yeah, and Seguin will probably be the team that moves on to somewhere.
First out,
kind of. I would, and see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 teams. Man, and so I think this would be a fun district if I were putting this together. Manor.
Okay.
Georgetown.
Yep.
Cedar Park.
Yeah.
Pflugerville. Hendrickson.
Yeah.
Weiss. And then that'd be 6. I think that I would leave it at 6 there. Yeah. Georgetown, Cedar Park, Manor, Pflugerville, Hendrickson, and Weiss.
And you're gonna leave Leander out?
Yeah, I think so. I think I would, but I don't know.
I just don't. Geographic wise,
geographically they'll probably put them in.
Yeah, they'll put them in. So
this will probably be a 9-team district because then they'll have to do Leander, and maybe Anderson, throw it in there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna really be honest with you. I think the first 2 out are gonna probably be. This is the way I see it. It's either gonna be Anderson, Dripping Springs, Georgetown, Cedar Park, Leander, Manor, Pflugerville, Hendrickson, and Weiss. And the last 2, Lehman and Johnson, I think would be out with Seguin just because of the geography, pure geography. Now, if we had to keep in Lehman and Johnson, I think you pull out Georgetown and Seguin, and you have a 9-team district with Anderson, Dripping Springs, Lehman, Johnson, Cedar Park, Leander, Manor, Pflugerville, Hendrickson, and Weiss.
And I think that would do that. And Austin is always kind of like the afterthought of the UIL when it comes to districting, and so they'll put in that 9-team district here, and I think they'll end up doing that again, especially when you're adding another school, Johnson, in the mix. So we'll probably see. I see at least 2 9-district teams.
Yeah, for sure. There's just so
Or
much talent.
9-team districts. Sorry.
And they're just keep adding. I mean, look at Johnson. They just added this school this year. And listen, man, I followed some of those kids on Instagram with Recon Athlete, and they are playing high level competition starting at the freshman and junior high grades. Like they're playing Lake Travis Middle Schools, Spring Branch, which is Smithson Valley, feeds into Smithson Valley High School. They're playing top level competition to kind of get primed for this 5A D1 because that's a big jump. I mean, that's one level above big boy 6A football.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see Dripping Springs in there, to play Georgetown. I mean, if you get Dripping Springs, Georgetown, Cedar Park.
Do you think they go 10 teams?
Manor and Hendrickson. I'm just saying, it would. I don't think they'll go 10 teams, but I'm just saying, it would be so cool. There'll be a really, really fun district. There'd be definitely some teams that could do some damage in the playoffs being left out because of such a heavy district like that. But if you have a district of Dripping Springs, Georgetown, Cedar Park, Manor, like Pflugerville, Hendrickson, and Weiss, man, I mean, that's, even that would be fun.
I want to play
that would be fun.
I want to play devil's advocate real quick, and I want to get if we got to split them in half, if we got to we're going to leave Seguin out.
Mm-hmm.
If we have to take 5 and 6 and split 2 districts out of these 11 teams, who are you putting together? You can only have 5 in one and 6 in another.
Not. I don't know.
This is because this what could happen.
Yeah.
Because they're restricted, and they're saying, okay, we have this geographical area. Who are we going to pick?
Mm-hmm.
Because Lehman, Johnson, and Dripping Springs are geographically close, and you also have Manor, Hendrickson, Weiss, and Cedar Park and Leander all up north. Roughly, they're probably within 12 miles of each other, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Georgetown is way out there, so that's kind of like, who do you put? And then Anderson is just stuck in the middle of Austin.
Yeah.
And it's like, who do you put where?
Yeah. I mean, it'll be, they've got I'm sure they have everything, laid out already.
I think it's done. Yeah.
But that's going to be, that was probably one of those where they were like, what are we going to do with this team? What are we going to do with Anderson sitting here in the, the middle of Austin pretty much? Yeah. Well, I mean, north side, but the way Austin's grown now, it's a lot of people consider it central. I mean, we're at Paddock Studios right now, and we're considered central, but we're kind of North Austin.
I'd say North Central, yeah.
Yeah, because when I was moving from South Austin, I told people where I was going to move. They were like, that's central.
When I lived in Austin, I was like, bro, you're north. But I was on the edge. I was on the edge of Austin.
I was moving from South First to St. Elmo to, over here in Brentwood area, and they were like, I was like, yeah, I'm moving north. And everybody was like, man, that's Central Austin. What are you talking about? So Anderson is right here, off of Far West Mopac. Yeah. Not Far West. Kind of in that area. So they're kind of like an island team right now. For sure. As far as Austin goes, I'm wondering if they don't just keep them with the other Austin schools, just to make it, geographically viable for those districts. All right, let's move on to 6A. You have 6A only here.
These are the only 6A teams, and this is kind of what encompassed 25 6A and 13 6A last year. There's of course some movement. So out of Austin ISD, Austin High, Aikens, and Bowie remain. Del Valley, Westlake, Hayes. Moving up, Hutto. Lots of talent out there in Hutto, lots of growth. Lake Travis. Moving on to Leander ISD, Vandergrift, Vista Ridge, and out of Round Rock ISD, we have Round Rock, McNeil, Stony Point, Westwood, and Cedar Ridge.
Okay.
Lots of talent.
Yeah. And
first impression.
I think Austin High, Aikens, Bowie, Westlake, Lake Travis probably stay together.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, that's 5 teams right there. I don't know how much things are going to change at the 6A level. I mean, really, the only real big change is Hutto.
I think that's the biggest one, and I think that's where Hutto gets moved into that district with Westlake, Lake Travis, unfortunately.
You think?
Yeah. I think because they have the biggest need. I mean, 13 6A from last year, Vandergrift, Vista Ridge, Round Rock schools, I think they all just stay the same.
I think that would be exciting for Hutto.
I I think it's scary.
Really?
I'm a big Hutto fan. I think you were a big Hutto fan last year, and they got a lot of talent. Grayson Doggett comes back at quarterback. He'll be a junior this year. Landon Watson on defense. They got tons of talent everywhere, all over the place. But, man, I mean, we're talking about high-level competition 4 weeks out of the year, throwing in Hayes. Let's not forget about Del Valle. I mean, they got D1 athletes on offensive line, running back, quarterback, and receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, lots of talent everywhere. UTSA was hitting hard yesterday with DeKedrick and also with Tavier. So, I mean, dude, people are just getting offers left and right, D1 plethora all over that district. And I don't know if it's going to stay 25-6A, but I do know this. I really believe this. Those two districts are going to be in different regions again on purpose because they don't want them playing in the bi-district rounds. Unfortunately, for that Round Rock, Vandergrift, or Leander ISD districts, they're going to get left with playing someone like a Klein Collins school again, or a Klein school that's just hard to play in the area around because, I mean, gosh, that's a really tough district to get matched up with, especially when you're in Region 3 with the Houston schools. Yeah,
so, I mean, it's just going to be a matter of where Hutto gets placed with all these 6A schools. Yeah, and I don't know. And there's other thing, too. I mean, depending on the enrollment, a lot of teams can, file an appeal to move down if they want to. I don't know if Hutto has that option, but I think Hutto, if they were to move in with that Westlake and Lake Travis district, I mean, I know that the level of competition is obviously going to go up. I mean, obviously, you got a state champion, you got a state semifinalist, but
Hutto's a state championship caliber team.
They are,
there's no doubt about it.
I picked them to go to state last year. I remember, and they just ran into that juggernaut of Shadow Creek.
Yeah, but the injury bug too, man. That's the other thing. That they weren't at full strength.
Right. So I think Hutto has a lot of potential, a lot of talent to play at that level. I mean, you never know until you get on the field and you get out there and see that, okay, well, this is Westlake or this is Lake Travis, but we might have just as much talent and we might have just as much work ethic and drive to compete with these guys.
And I think that's exactly what Coach LaPlante's going to put in their mind, especially right now during training camp or spring training. These guys are going to be doing things that they probably haven't done ever in their lifetime because they know what kind of district they're going to get sized up for, and they're probably going to be prepared for it. Most likely going into two-a-days when they get in here in August. But I think Hutto moves in, and I think Hutto goes to the playoffs. But it's going to be another battle. Like, who's going to get that third and fourth spot? Is it going to be? I think Hutto locks up spot 3, maybe 2, depending on how things go. But it's another dogfight between Bowie, Del Valle, and Hayes for that 4th spot in that district to go to the playoffs. Because, I mean, Bowie always comes correct no matter who their quarterback is. And we know that slot T and Hayes is really hard to beat. Nobody's figured it out except for Westlake and Lake Travis. Yeah. So we'll see how things play out. But we'll find out all the news on Monday, so we'll get Brady's reactions.
Yeah, so, we'll talk about it definitely on the Wednesday show, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Make sure you check us out, Recon Athlete on Facebook. We got our Facebook Live going. And, if you're my friend on Facebook, just look for my watch party. I always put it out there. And we'll have some reaction from Paul on Monday when all this comes out. Do they have a time when all this is going to come out?
I don't know about a time, but I could probably do some research and make an announcement. I'll probably put the announcement up on Instagram stories.
All right. Recon Athlete episode number 48, Chris Sanchez and Paul Rodriguez. Like we said, Zach Luceto's down in San Antonio. He's probably still sleeping.
What time is it? 10:53?
Yeah. He's probably still asleep. He was down on the Riverwalk or something. Is that where people hang? Is that where people party at?
Well, there's
you lived in San Antonio for a while.
Yeah, man. I actually lived down the road from where he's staying out there in Southtown. So yeah, man. There's some really cool places. Some places that not a lot of people know about. Very very locals only. Excuse me, but
you don't want to name no names.
No.
Why?
No.
You don't give them no shine time?
No, because it's just those places are already packed by the locals, and if we tell even more people to go there, we'll never ever be able to get in unless you go like at 6 in the evening. Because these places are like All right, I'll tell you about a bar. I'm not gonna name the name, but there's a bar in Southtown.
Okay.
It's right there by Blue Star Brewery, and there's like a little cul-de-sac, and there's a bunch of businesses, very eclectic, very Austin, probably the most Austin-y part of San Antonio. Anyways, there's a bar that's under another bar. It's like underground. You have to walk down. You show your guy your ID. It's very, feels very warehouse-ish.
Yeah.
And you walk in, it's like a speakeasy, bro. Like you walk in, old-timey everything, roundabout tables, circles, long bar. These guys are not bartenders. These guys and gals, they're mixologists.
Yeah.
They take things very seriously.
Okay.
They make their whiskey sour with a raw egg. They're getting down like that.
Oh, okay.
So, lime juice, whiskey, put the egg in there, shake it till it gets frothy, serve it up on ice. That's their whiskey sour.
Wow.
Yeah, bro, like that.
Okay.
Everything like made to order, fresh, nothing pre-made, nothing like that.
All right. So it's in Southtown.
Yeah.
So, if you're in San Antonio, we ain't going to name no names because we ain't trying to like get that place anymore.
It's always packed, man. Yes, it's always packed.
Bunch of hipster Austinites rolling down there.
Man, these San Antonio folk, they get down. They're cool, man. It's a fun area. It's very like they have like a First Friday, and you can walk and talk and take your booze wherever you want to go. And
Yeah,
it's very fun. It's very fun on the First Friday.
I'm gonna go down. I thought about it because Zach was saying, "Oh man, you should come through." I was like, man, I don't.
I mean, he did give us the address and the floor, and he gave us everything.
I mean, you see my hat, Black Pumas.
Heck yeah.
They're playing an after game concert tonight, San Antonio Spurs.
Maybe you should roll. Spurs is right down. Spurs is gonna be playing right there down the street from Zach's apart or his hotel.
Man, I'm gonna have to think about that. All right, Recon Athlete episode 48. We talked to some redistricting. I want to shout out some people that just joined our watch party. Stuart Newton, my cousin John. Hey, congratulations again on getting married, bro.
Yeah, congratulations, John.
Paul Bazan and Anthony Lopez. Panas. I used to call him Panas.
Why?
Because he's Panson, dude.
Oh, yeah, brother man. Yeah, brother man.
But actually, dude, he was a really good middle linebacker for us. Shout
Yeah.
out Westwood. He was class of 99 or no, 2000.
That's back in the day when you had to have a little heft on you for that run game, right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he was good too, man. And he was kind of shorter stature too, so he wasn't real big, but man, he put his nose into it, man.
Back in the day, you bring the wood is what you say.
Yeah, for sure. So shout out Panas. All right, we got the big game tomorrow. We've been talking about it for a couple weeks now. Super Bowl number 54, Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes against San Francisco 49ers and the 49ers defense. And because, that's basically what the narrative has been. Everything that I've listened to, everything I watch, everything I read, it's all about Patrick Mahomes versus the San Francisco 49ers defense. Nobody really talks about Jimmy Garoppolo or Deebo Samuel or Mostert or, Tevin Coleman might get to play tomorrow. He had a separated shoulder. They don't talk about Matt Breida.
Emmanuel Sanders.
They don't talk about Jusic, whatever his name is. George Kittle. George Kittle's he was the number one tight end, that was drafted off the board, in fantasy football last year.
Right.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
It was between him and Travis Kelce and Zach Ertz. But most of the time it was George Kittle. But the narrative right now is Patrick Mahomes against that San Francisco defense. And right now, has the line moved at all? So 1.5 still? I think it's still 1.5.
We're still at 1.5.
Yeah. So the Kansas City Chiefs are still 1.5 point favorites. And I've been saying this all week, and I said it on Wednesday. I really think that smart money is going on San Francisco. There's no reason for as much as hype and as much love as Kansas City has gotten and Patrick Mahomes from the media and from pretty much everybody. There's no reason why that number shouldn't be higher for the Kansas City.
So what do you think it should be? What are you really forecasting the win by San Francisco would be? Are we talking 7 points, less than 7?
For San Francisco?
Yeah. So they would be what? Plus what?
I would think they'd be a plus 5.5.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking because 1.5, that's almost a toss up, man. It's a field goal.
That's a favorite for San Francisco, I think.
Yeah. And it's a 1.5. It's not very much, so I've got this theory in my head that all the public money is going on Kansas City and all the smart money, all the Vegas money is going to San Francisco. I don't know. We really don't know. Mm-hmm. I haven't looked it up yet, but that's my feeling.
Yeah.
A lot of times I go with my gut, and I just think that those boys in Vegas like what San Francisco has to offer because they have the pass rush. What they really don't want to do is, let Patrick Mahomes, do his ad-libbing, doing his and at times Patrick Mahomes, it seems like he wants the play to break down.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
Like at times, like he wants it, like the guys to be, covered. He's kind of like, oh, he's covered. Okay, I got to run.
That's that Red Raider in him.
Yeah, and I think it's worked so far, but I think it's been a couple weeks for this San Francisco defense to kind of break it down, and I'm not sure how hard they're going to come at Patrick Mahomes because I feel like the end rushers are going to want to contain, and they're going to leave it up to the guys in the middle to try to take them down. And I think personally, that's the way that San Francisco is going to come at Patrick Mahomes because those guys in the middle, Jesse Armstead and they can do it. They are basically pass rushers, at the D tackle positions.
Yeah, they're all pass rushers.
It's like that's all they have.
Yeah.
It's just pass rushers. And Kansas City, they don't really have a run game. We got the Damian Williams. We were talking about the prop bets on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Right now the over-under for his rushing is 51.5. And it's like, man, that's not very much.
No.
So I'll be surprised if he reaches that number, the Kansas City running back. But I think right now, close your ears, all you Kansas City fans. But I like San Francisco in this game. I'm pulling for San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like I don't want to see Patrick Mahomes, the Texas kid,
right,
win a Super Bowl. Of course I do.
Yeah.
I just feel like if I'm not a gambling guy, but if I were to gamble, I put my money on San Francisco. And I just like the way that they've played football this year. I'm a defense guy.
There you go.
I'm a defensive guy.
Yeah.
Play defensive end, love pass rushing. So that's kind of where I'm at. And shout out to Snoop. He's in his room, but he says good morning.
Good morning, Snoop.
All right, your thoughts, Paul?
I don't know. I'm like you haven't wavered. I haven't wavered either. And I made the mistake for the national championship, and I studied and I worked and I studied and I studied, and then I was just completely wrong. Like my eyes just deceived me, and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go back to what I used to do, and I'm just gonna have my assessment, and I'm just gonna go with my first instinct. And my first instinct just says, Andy Reid has a history when he was in Philadelphia of throwing to running backs out of the backfield. Mm-hmm. That is his running game. They're not going to hand the ball off. Their offensive line isn't built to run downhill. They're built to pass block and zone block. And I think that's what you're going to see a lot of. I think you're going to see a lot of Tyreek Hill on jet sweeps. I think you're going to see a lot of balls out of Patrick Mahomes' hands less than 3 seconds. Mm-hmm. I see Travis Kelce getting balls like in the flat as quick as possible. They're going to look for matchups, identify them, and then they're going to exploit them. But I want to see the linebackers for San Francisco having to cover running backs and tight ends that I don't think they match up with well. And what I think really that's going to do is bring up the secondary because they're going to take everything underneath. They're going to take underneath, and then they're going to let Patrick Mahomes do what he does. He wants to ad lib. He wants that play to break down, like you said, once they get in the red zone. And we know, we've seen it before. We saw it last year. We saw it this year when he was healthy. He can deliver the ball from any angle from the pocket, or he can throw across the field from left to right, across his body with accuracy and with touch. The only way Kansas City wins this game is if Mahomes is upright. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have to be standing still. He just has to be upright because if he's on the ground and he gets frustrated and San Francisco's D-line has their way with him, I think it could be a blowout. I don't think that's what's going to happen. It could be, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think the ball gets out quick. I think Mahomes and Andy Reid take everything underneath. Kansas City wins. I think they still win by like 6 or 7 points. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think this game is going to be in the high 30s or low 40s at the end of the game for both teams. I think it's going to still – I said 46-41, maybe 42-38. I like in that area.
All right, and speaking of scores, well, we shout out to King Kalunga who got on the watch party.
Yeah.
He says Kansas City 35, 49ers 17. He's got Mahomes thrown for 340 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and the MVP. So King Kalunga all over that Patrick Mahomes, and then shout out, that's
It's doable.
It's definitely doable.
Doable.
It's not something that's out of the realm, but I think you're right. I mean, I think the San Francisco 49ers want Patrick Mahomes upright too, but I think they want him upright standing on the sidelines. That's where they want him. That's where they want him upright. They like I said on Wednesday, and I've been saying this. If they were to win the toss. If I were San Francisco, take the ball. Mm-hmm. Give me the ball. Mm-hmm. Let me run it. Let me get 5 or 6. Let me get 5 or 6 minutes off the clock, and whether or not you can score a touchdown or kick a field goal, you're shortening the game. And I think that's what San Francisco 49ers their formula for winning this Super Bowl will be shortening the game and keeping Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. So they're going to have to. I think if Tevin Coleman plays, I think they're going to use all 3 of the running backs, Mostert, Coleman, and Breida. I think when they pass the ball, I think Deebo Samuel is going to be the guy that they're going to be targeting because he can. I mean, when you talk about yak yards, yards after catch, that's the man.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to be a big factor in this football game. And I mean, I just San Francisco, if they're going to win this football game, they're going to have to, like I said, keep that offense on the sideline. And that's to me, that's the only way they're going to do it. I mean, San Francisco's allowed 15 points per game in the playoffs here. Mm-hmm. Allowed just over 19 in the season. So I really like what San Francisco's got going on right now. Defensively, offensively, like I said, they're gonna have to go on the run game. So we'll see what's up. What up, Snoop?
Snoop, what up?
We got you set up, bro. You got any prediction for the big game?
Niners.
You like the Niners too? Mm-hmm. Really?
I like their defense. And remember, I've said all year that I think they had the sneakiest collection of skill players in the NFL. They aren't as obvious as Kelsey Kittle, yeah, but, there's no Tyreek Hill, there's no Sammy Watkins, but there's just a bunch of up-and-comers. So I just feel it's the Niners' time.
Yeah.
Can we get a close up of that sweatshirt that hoodie that Snoop's wearing?
I meme well.
That is. Yeah. I like that.
You haven't seen that one?
Nah, I like that though. I like that. I mean well.
I do mean well.
I like Snoop style. He comes out of the room and he starts eating breakfast, Sour Patch Kids. Mm-hmm. But that's how you get so much energy, Hey, man. That's how you get so much energy.
You get that hyphy.
Yeah.
Now look for me, Kansas City. They shut down the hottest running back the past 4 weeks of the season with Derrick Henry.
Okay.
19 yards attempted. Mm-hmm. 19 rushes attempted, 69 yards, 1 touchdown. Mm-hmm. I think those are similar numbers that Mostert and that running back crew are going to get from San Francisco. I think Frank Clark has something to say about where he's been coming from Seattle, understanding what I think San Francisco likes to do, playing in that district or playing that division. And I don't see them having a hiccup or losing or being uncomfortable slowing down the run game for San Francisco. I don't see that, especially coming off a big game where they got beat up in the first quarter. Kansas City got beat up in the first quarter by Derrick Henry.
But they didn't give up any points.
Right, but that's
they didn't give any points in the whole half.
To Derrick Henry?
Yeah.
They gave 17 points in the first quarter.
The first quarter?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My bad.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so that's
right. We were at Cripes.
Yeah, right.
We were like,
that's
what
right.
the heck?
And so I was like, Chris, we're talking about the same game.
That's right. Now.
And so I'm really kind of curious how, everybody's been talking about the running game, and I'm like, yeah, they got a solid running game. I understand Shanahan has learned from his father about zone blocking and the run scheme, but to me, I don't see the Chiefs having a hiccup when they just but they shortchanged the toughest running back that they had faced in the NFL the whole season. It's going to be a combination of things. You got 2 alpha teams, squads, squaring up against each other in the biggest game in Miami. Mm-hmm. Miami, 305 Dade County. Mm-hmm. And they're going to square off, and I think it's going to be a really tough game. But I just think that the Chiefs have a little bit more dog in them, a little bit more alpha in them to get the W. And I just think that we'll see a tremendous game, and I still like Kansas City, but I think Frank Clark, coming from Seattle, having a ring, having a little bit chip on the shoulder, getting things done, is going to have something to say. And if San Francisco gets down, it's going to be all up to Jimmy Garoppolo to pull them out of that bind. But I just don't see that happening.
No. All right. Well, I mean, that's fair enough. But I do think that stopping one running back is different than stopping 3 running backs. You
think that those 3 running backs collectively are better than Derrick Henry?
I think 3 running backs is better than 1.
Man, I don't
You don't
know.
think so?
Derrick Henry?
You don't think 3 running backs is better than 1?
Collectively. Like, I understand
Right,
they got their change of pace. I
yes,
get that.
Change of pace.
I understand that.
Energy level, beaten up. Like, I mean, when you're able to switch out guys, I mean, they do that on defensive lines. They do that on defensively because they want somebody that's out there that's fresh.
I get the logic.
I think a fresh running back, is different than a guy that's been beat up because Tennessee did rely on Derrick Henry a lot. They gave him the ball a lot.
Yeah. And
then the way that the game went, Tennessee ended up falling behind, and then they couldn't play their game in the second half, basically.
Yeah, because they don't have a quarterback.
They only got Tannehill. I mean, he's not.
Tannehill is the same level of Jimmy Garoppolo, where he ain't gonna pull you out of the game.
No, that's true. But I mean, I'm just saying. I'm saying 3 running backs is better than 1.
I understand what the logic that you're making there, but Derrick Henry collectively over the last part of the season, his yards per average increased as the game went on, which means he got stronger and defenses got less strength. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's going to happen where you have 3 running backs and this Kansas City team is going to lose face. I just don't see that happening.
Well, I mean, okay, so here's the deal: the change of pace thing. I mean, so there's one strategy to stop 1 running back. You're gonna have to have 3 strategies to stop 2 or 3 running backs, right?
So I think
I'm just saying that San Francisco is they're able to utilize their running backs in a different manner. Where with Tennessee, there's only one way you can use one guy.
And I think what you're trying to say is that all of those 3 change of pace are going to work. And what I'm trying to say is that you stop 1 back, you stop 2 backs. I don't think that they're going to be focused on personnel. I think they're going to be focused on scheme for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think if you go out and you put team behind the chains, that means if they're on 2nd and medium and they try to throw the ball, they play action the ball, and it's 3rd and long now, or 3rd and medium now, you're forcing Jimmy Garoppolo to throw the ball. So I think the scheme is going to be the focus for Kansas City, not much less the personnel.
Yeah, and I don't think I got no problem with Jimmy Garoppolo throwing the ball to Deebo Samuel at all.
He can be throwing the ball to.
I don't think Snoop does either.
Nah, Deebo. Who gonna mess with Deebo?
Yeah. All right, Recon Athlete.
By the way, if you want a prop bet, I'm sure you could put some money down on Deebo Samuels to get a MVP if you're just trying to throw some money to the wind and hit a lick.
Are you in my head right now? Because I was going to say that. For real.
Really?
I was going to say.
Yeah.
I was going to say. I was
He's
gonna
a
like
beast.
Deebo Samuel could get an MVP. If they decide, let's say Kansas City does shut him down and Jimmy Garoppolo does have to throw the ball. I mean, Deebo Samuel is the type of player that can take over.
And he's been showing signs of it steadily all through the year. I think against, was it Tennessee they played last time? No. Who did they beat in the championship?
Green Bay.
Yeah, he only got the ball like 3 times. Twice were on reverse trick plays. But it shows that they have identified that he is a big playmaker, and he can go to the yard, take it to the house any play. So yeah. I think he's, not like Tyreek Hill, but he's Tyreek Hill-esque.
Yeah, he only had 2 catches in the game.
Yeah.
He had 2 catches for 46 yards, and he rushed twice for 43 yards.
Right.
89 yards on the game, but I think 89 yards is a lot. That's that's a lot of despite the fact that he only touched the ball 4 times. So if you get him the ball more than that, I think a good prop bet would be a Deebo Samuel MVP candidate. Any final thoughts on this Super Bowl there, Paul? Other than you think I'm totally wrong about San Francisco's running game.
I don't think you're totally wrong. I really don't.
I'm really only going 49ers because everybody's saying the Chiefs.
Yeah, me too.
90% of people are saying Chiefs.
Let's go ahead and make sure we get Zach's pick.
Oh yeah.
Zach's pick in. He put it on the messenger.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to talk about outlandish, like I'm not with Zach on this one, but he's talking about Kansas City winning by 9.5. I mean, nine points.
By 9? Okay.
And I'm just like, okay, bro. If that, let me make sure. I'm just going to double check and just want to make sure I read that right.
No, that's what it was. I mean, and I think Kalunga's on the same boat. I mean, he's saying 35-17.
Yeah, and that's I just think that's a little bit not giving enough respect to Kyle Shanahan and his offense. I just don't think I'm not going to go that far. Final thought: Kansas City wins a tight game. We have I think we have one of the most prolific and exciting Super Bowls that we've had since probably Atlanta, New England a few years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just the way I feel about it.
All right. And I'm gonna do one of those Berman style of scores. I'm gonna go San Francisco 29, Kansas City 25.
Jeez, okay.
You know, one of those crazy scores.
Well, that's funny that you bring that up because that hits exactly on the over under. That's 54 is over under.
Yeah, 29-25. All right, Snoop, you got a
31-28 Niners.
All right, 31-28 Niners.
Yeah, solid.
All right, and if you got a big game score that you want to put out there, hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, or just comment on our Facebook Live, or just the live video is out there and it's going to be out there. So hit us up, let us know how smart you are and how wrong we are. So redistricting real quick, Snoop. You missed that part, but you excited about that?
Yeah, I'm going on Monday morning early. I don't care how hard I go on the Super Bowl partying. I'm going to be at redistricting. Yeah, I'm very excited. I just want to see something weird.
Is anybody doing a show out there? Do you know?
Everybody.
Like
everybody's going to do it. Yeah. Well,
like who?
I think K-Mac, SHN, IHS fan.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Statesman. I think every news stations are trying to go out there. So they're just trying to expand, the coverage. It's an interesting event. I don't know if they're going to cover it very compellingly, but
yeah, I mean, not like fan stand.
No, or us, Ain't name dropping fan stand.
Oh yeah,
we've just been doing it for years.
Well, I mean, fan stand ATX, man. I mean, come on, bro. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like Recon is just kind of a what is it? I would say almost a child.
Very infant.
Born if fan stand is Death Row Records, then Recon Athlete is like Aftermath.
That's a good way to end this. This is a good way to end this episode. Appreciate everybody that joined episode 48 on the Facebook Live. Shout out to Snoop for coming out and joining us for a couple seconds. Shout out Zach down in San Antonio. I don't know, man. I might. You never know. I might hit you up, bro. So if I show up knocking on your door, I'll pedo. Let me in. All right, Paul. We'll see you on Wednesday. Do your thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all enjoying the podcast, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. For everybody on YouTube, hit the bell. We'll let you know when we notify. We gone.